Later that night Annabelle is sleeping. Edith shows her visions at her dream about how she killed the nurses from the past. The flashback shows Edith running from the authorities, and the scene where she jumps at the cliff, leaving her baby stranded at a tree branch as she drowns at the lake. The movie begins with a police radio broadcasting about a shooting incident that is occurring at the DeSange household. One snowy morning, Jeffrey, the father of Victoria and Lily, shoots his wife and grabs his daughters to escape. Jeffrey drives in a fast speed despite the snowy road. Soon after the car crashes and falls to a cliff. Regardless of the injuries and the bad weather, Jeffrey and his daughters continues to trail a path towards an old cabin at the woods. Jeffrey leaves his daughter inside as he creates fire for them. As regret starts to take over him from killing his wife and running away from the authorities, he points his gun at his daughter to end their suffering. He then takes her glasses off. But the ghost known as Mama attacks him and dismembers him, leaving the two young girls behind. 5 years after, Lucas DeSange, Jeffrey's brother, hires 2 hunters to look for his nieces as he believes that they are still alive. After some attempt to find the 2 young girls, they stumble upon the debris of the car crash, which the hunters use their dog's scent of smell to find the missing young girls. They finally find them at the cabin in the woods. But to their surprise, the 2 young girls are acting with feral-like traits. The hunters immediately call Lucas to announce that his nieces are now safe and sound. 87 days after, they go to the institute where Victoria and Lily is residing for the meantime. In there they meet Dr. Dreyfus that observes the girls as they show feral-like traits. He explains that the girls are living as feral to survive, after they go missing for 5 years. Dr. Dreyfus asks Lucas if he can give the glasses to Victoria as she apparently have a poor eyesight. His presence alarms Victoria and Lily as they hide below the beds. But Lucas asks Victoria to grab the glasses and wear them, which she eventually do, and thus building the connection between the two as Lucas resembles his Jeffrey. Later at the hearing for the children's custody, Dr. Dreyfus is explaining that after 87 days of observing the lost children, they are showing signs of an imaginary mother figure that sing, feed, and help them survive in the woods for 5 years. They call it Mama. The doctor gives emphasis that with proper physical and emotional development, Victoria and Lily can live a normal life, as he is pertaining to Lucas and Annabelle as their guardians. Another aspiring guardian, Ms. Podolsky, the aunt of Victoria and Lily, explains that she wants to take custody of them as Lucas have monetary issues and may have problem raising the children. After the hearing, Dr. Dreyfus offers to provide proper shelter and support to Lucas if he takes the offer. The doctor is itching to observe Victoria and Lily as their case is compelling. Lucas and Annabelle accepts as it will provide help to the children. After reaching an agreement between the three, they leave and seize Ms. Podolsky. She is given the rights to visit the girls once a week as they are still relatives. The following day, Lucas and Annabelle transfers to their new home, while Dr. Dreyfus continues to observe the actions of Victoria and Lily at the medical facility. While being recorded, Victoria shares the story explaining their relationship with the entity, Mama, and what is the backstory of that Mama. She mentions that Mama shows it to her using dreams. It is about a lady running away from the hospital carrying her baby. As the authorities are trying to catch them, she traps herself as she faces a cliff with the river below. There was no other choice but to jump, as she believes it will save them, but Mama dies instead, leaving her baby at a branch. After a few days, Victoria and Lily arrives at their new home. The 2 siblings go around the house to familiarize with the surroundings. Later that day, Dr. Dreyfus remembers the lady that Victoria talks about and investigates to discover its identity. He asks the lady in the archives to get reports with the same story of Mama. The lady returns with some papers, but mentions that there are no clear cases of that resembles the story near the area recently. But there is one book that contains the record of the St. Gertrude's Asylum that is already closed since 1878, and there is a patient, Edith Brennan, that has the same setup with the story that Victoria mentions to the doctor. In evening, Lucas and Annabelle is conversing about how the girls need more time to adjust. They exchange spits at the bedroom, but Annabelle freaks out as Mama's silhouette is at their door watching them. Lucas looks outside the room and checks the girls if they are harmed. A female growl at the room, but there is no one in their room. As Lucas is surveying the area to make sure that no one did break into their house, he carries a hammer, but he is bested by Mama as she scares him, leading to Lucas falling from the 2nd floor. As Luca experiences a temporary coma, Annabelle is the only seen guardian for the kids. Horrific dreams and visions of Mama occurs to Annabelle. One day, Annabelle calls Dr. Dreyfus to look at the drawings at the wall done by the kids as it may carry hidden meaning, and a doll made of twigs catches his attention as he may have seen them before. The doctor then reviews the previous recording of Victoria during his initial testing. He notices that the doll at the cabin and at home is the same. The creator of that doll is no other than Mama. Later that evening, Annabelle puts the kids to sleep after eating dinner. But as she tries to sleep, she hears a sound of a crooked lady playing with the kids at their room. She inspects the room, but there is no one except the kids, although Victoria warns her not to open the closet but mentions that it is nothing. The following day Annabelle suspects that there is a lady that is visiting them in secret. But the doctor responds by that Victoria is making the crooked lady sounds, as she develops a dissociative personality disorder as the result of being all alone with her sister for 5 years. Later at the library archives, the doctor returns to collect information about Edith Brennan, and he is given a small box with the remains of the child of Edith that has been there for a long time. At the hospital, Lucas experiences a shock, but he foresees a vision about Jeffrey that warns him about a potential danger that the kids will face soon. Jeffrey's silhouette points at the right side of a bridge. The doctor and nurse rushes to the room to help him with his shock, but the vision fades away as he is given cure. The following day Annabelle notices Victoria at a room trying to pry open a bottle of fruits, but Victoria warns her again that Mama does not like that they are becoming close with each other as Mama grows jealous of Annabelle. The doorbell rings, and Ms. Podolsky is at the front door as Annabelle opens it for her. Ms. Podolsky mentions that it's her schedule to take care of the kids, but she notices that there are bruises at the kids, as she thinks that Annabelle is hurting the kids. She is ready to report Annabelle for physical abuse, and she just needs to take a photo of the bruises before filing a case. Later that evening, Dr. Dreyfus returns with a lead about the identity of Mama. He shows the picture to Victoria, but she gets mad and shouts, and the doctor retaliates by shouting while asking if she knows the person in the picture. But a large black sludge at the wall that releases moths appears at his back. He quickly leaves as he doesn't want to see the next creature it will release. The following day, that the doctor goes to the cabin in the woods to investigate who Mama is, and to know how dangerous that entity is. Later that night Annabelle is sleeping. Edith shows her visions at her dream about how she killed the nurses from the past. The flashback shows Edith running from the authorities, and the scene where she jumps at the cliff, leaving her baby stranded at a tree branch as she drowns at the lake. At the other room, Lily hears Edith calling her down the window to play. Lily wakes up Victoria, but she insists that they stay at the room, but Lily is stubborn as she loves Mama so much. Back at the cabin, the doctor surveys the area as he is finding clues that will give him information towards Edith. But the wall is bleeding black sludge as it releases moths. He hears crooked growls of a female, and his flashlight begins to flicker, and it dies eventually. He brings out a camera with a very strong flash, as a light source. But Edith attacks him as he continuously presses the button to capture the image of Edith. She grabs him, and absorbs his energy and rips his face, and alas the curious doctor is now dead. The next morning, Annabelle checks on Victoria and Lily at their room. But she panics as she notices that Lily is sleeping outside under the tree. She rushes outside to get Lily as it is very cold outside. She picks her up and goes inside to hug, and hold her hands to warm her up. Lily eventually throws a tantrum at Annabelle, but she notices that Annabelle is just helping her lower her temperature. Victoria goes down, but she is nervous as she knows that Mama will get mad as she is jealous towards Annabelle that shows care to her adoptive kids. That same morning, Annabelle fixes the window so the kids cannot go outside with the use of the window, as it will hurt them severely. She tells them to use the stairs next time, especially Lily. Victoria makes breakfast for the family and calls Annabelle. She is storing the clothes at the kids' room as she notices that Lily is hiding in a blanket. But Victoria calls her again to get breakfast as she and Lily is waiting her to finish. With confusion, Annabelle checks the cabinet to what thing is hiding behind that blanket, but she only sees a black sludge at the wall, but no signs of the blanket. Victoria asks Annabelle to leave the cabinet alone and eat breakfast downstairs. While eating, Annabelle asks Victoria about her session with Dr. Dreyfus as they both have talks pertaining to the Mama entity, but Victoria is still hesitant to share about her. Later, Annabelle looks at the remaining files of the doctor at their living room. The files contain paperworks of the recordings of Victoria and the doctor's interview, and there she sees an old picture of a lady. She then calls the doctor, and no one is answering. She decides to visit the office of the doctor as she is concerned and curious to who is that lady in the photo. As they arrive at the office, she sneaks and steals a box of the professor containing the information from the case of Victoria and Lily. They leave swiftly and returns home. At the hospital, Lucas figures that he needs to investigate about his previous vision about Jeffrey and the path that he is pointing at. He looks at the map and picture, as he calls the car rental to visit Clifton Forge 9, where he pictures Jeffrey and the bridge, to investigate. Later that night, back at Lucas' place, Annabelle uncovers the box and files of the doctor to investigate about Mama, and what the doctor knows. She opens the laptop and watches the video recording and reviews the files to gather more information. In one recording, she hears about Victoria sharing about the story of Edith, and how she lost her baby, and how the baby is found by the authorities before. She opens another file that shows the other smaller box contains the remains of the dead baby of Edith. She then calls Lucas, but he decides not to answer it as he is also investigating a lead at the Clifton Forge 9. Annabelle starts to cry as she discovers the sad story of Edith and her baby's death. Victoria sees her and hugs her to say goodnight, and that she loves her. But as they sleep, Ms. Podolsky sneaks inside their home to document the bruises of the kids to show the judge that the kids are being abused at Lucas' custody. But Lily and Victoria wakes up to check on Annabelle as they saw the black sludge at the closet being active. They see Mama and she is furious as she grows jealous towards Annabelle. She bites Annabelle at the back to slow her down. And decides to kill the other intruder at home, which is Ms. Podolsky. Mama shows herself as a hare to commence a sneak attack and possess the body of Ms. Podolsky. Annabelle wakes up after a few minutes, but Mama abducts the kids a while ago before she even wakes up. She drives swiftly, and carries the remains of Mama's baby to the Clifton Forge 9's cliff. On her way to the cliff she crosses path with Lucas as they are in a hurry to prevent the Mama from taking the kids away from them. They arrive at the cabin and as they enter, they notice that Ms. Podolsky is already dead. And as they go out of the cabin, they have a realization that the cliff is just near the cabin after all. At the end of the cliff, Annabelle and Lucas tries to negotiate with Edith as Annabelle knows the sad story of her death. She shows the dead remains of her baby covered in a cloth, but as Edith is going to jump at the cliff, Lily shouts, "Mama!" Edith throws the corpse and grabs the kids. Annabelle and Lucas retaliates, but Edith is way too strong for them. Victoria talks with Edith to make an offer. She wants to be with her if she won't hurt Annabelle and Lucas. Annabelle grabs the end of Victoria's clothes, but Edith keeps on resisting as Annabelle resists as well. The movie ends by Annabelle showing her love towards the kids, but it is not enough to fight the bond of Edith and Lily, as Lily chooses to be with Edith till the end. Edith jumps along with Lily at the lake. After that event, a crying family of Lucas, Annabelle, and Victoria sees a familiar moth that Victoria calls, "That's Lily saying goodbye to us." Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.